first day, we did our basics like variables and all its declaration. So you guys must have seen user inputs, right, and typecasting. So any problem with it? Mandar, any problem with assignments?
No, Prathamesh.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
So let's get started. So what we'll be doing today is we'll be doing operations on data sets, which we learned in first session, like list, tuples, dictionary, and strings, and conditional statements like if else and loops, iteration. So let me start Python.
Prathamesh, I think screen is not visible.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, it's okay.
I haven't started anything yet, but okay. Is it visible now?
Yeah, now it's visible.
Thank you. Well, we had like this question about pinning this PyCharm in our applications, right? So anybody look up to it?
Go to PyCharm, and in PyCharm there is option includes like create desktop entry. Then you can directly open.
Okay, so that's how we can create a desktop icon for PyCharm. So go to tools, and then there is an option called create desktop entry. It will create application in your applications toolbar here. PyCharm.
So let me write new topic. So adding new file. Like create file, right? So like Java.
Yes. Okay. So like I will just explain how to create new file. So when we have to create new file, we have multiple options. Like here in file, you can create new, or just right click here on our project. Then there is a new. Then there is a file and Python file. So the difference between these two are when you create a Python file, it will automatically set its extension to .py. But when you create a file, it will just create a blank file with no extension. So you can give extension anything you want, like JSON file or text file. So that's how new file works. For example, I can create Python file using this option also, Python file, and using only file also. But if you use only file, then you have to give .py extension. Then and only then it will be considered as Python file. So I will just create a new file here for day2. Day2.py. So what we'll be doing today is data type operations, then conditional statements, and loops. All right, so let's get started. As we already learned before, there are many data types like int, float, then there is a what do we get, string, tuple, list, dictionary, and set, right? So what type of operations we can perform on this? Like I have told you to add a two integer, to float, integer, float. Have you tried adding string and integer? Yeah, right. So you get error when you try to add any like string have like iterable characters, but int isn't iterable. That's why it gives you error, like adding different data types. So what we can do is convert into string and then add it, but it will just create a string, as we cannot add a number to any sentence, right? So for int and float, we basically know mathematical operations like plus, minus, and all. But what if like there is suppose any variable a equal to let's say 20, and now we have to add only +1 to this a. So like item variable assignment. what we can do is a equal to a plus 1, right? What it will make, increase the value of a by 1. Now this thing can be done in one line, like not typing a twice, just writing a plus equal to 1. Now these both things are similar. If we print it, sorry, it's item assignment, it cannot be printed. Sorry. To print a, here print it. Now here we expect the output 21 and here 22, right? Let's run it day 2. Here 21 and 22, so both things can be done. Like they are doing the same thing but with different types, like we aren't writing a twice here in second thing. Also there is another type of item assignment, like suppose you have two variables, like we already have a equal to 20 and b equal to 40. Now what you have to do is make a equal to 40 and b equal to 20. We can do it is using another variable like c. So storing a's value in that, then assigning b's value to a and then c's value to b. So what Python does is just swap them, like we can write b comma a equal to a comma b. This will just swap their values, a's value to b and b's value to a. So these are just like shortcuts to write code in better way. Just comment it out. Right, so let's get started on data type operations. So for intent float, you already know there are plus, minus, division, multiplication operations. So string, let's operate on string. Let's say I have a string called name equal to, let's say, Jake, and space let's say John, and another one Mike. So these are three names in one string. Right. So how string is composed of? String is composed of multiple characters, like J is character, A is character, K is character. So all these characters come together and make a one string. But character isn't a data type in Python. Like even one character, if you even write just J, it will be considered as string only. And string is immutable, just like tuple. We cannot modify tuple, just like string cannot be modified. How to access element in string? It's same as we did for list. What we can do is print name. It will just print all string, complete string. Right now I have to print only 0th character. So like J is 0th, right? This one I will print name of 0. This will print J only. So this way you can access element of string. Now there is another way of accessing. How typically we go is like 0 to completely length. Let's say there is a length of 10 in a string. So to access the last element, we can write like string and then square bracket and 10. But what if we don't know length and we want to print the last character of the string? Python can access element in reverse order also. So if I write name of -1, this will print E, the last element. So to access last element of string, you can write -1. This printed E. Same way you can go up to all string using minus character, minus operator. Sorry. So if I write -3, this should print I. Yep. Yeah, it goes in reverse order. So I like when you generally how we access element is from indexing 0, right? So 0 points to J, then 1 points to A, 2 points to K. If we use minus, then -1 points to E, the last element, -2 points to K, and -3 points to I, right? In reverse order.
But it always starts with -3.
No, you can -1. It starts with -1. 0th element is J, -1 is E. Last. Right. So this way you can access a list also. List can be also traversed backwards.
Print the length of the string.
Right. So there is a like inbuilt function to printing length of string. I will get to that just in a moment. Okay. Sure. So to or like for printing not only the string but any list, length of list or length of anything, there is a only single function in all our Python, global function. So now what if I want to like break this complete three names in like I have these three names in one string, but I want three different strings, right? Because Jake is another name, John is another name, and Mike is another name. So how we can break them? So there is an inbuilt function called split. What split does is splits the string based on character we want. For example, I can split name using space, name dot, and when I press dot, you can see all over the operations we can do on this string, like PyCharm already suggested. Then when I create split, then I have to specify on which basis I have to split it, on space or any specific character. If you don't give anything, split will automatically splits on space. Space is default. And if I give space, let's run it. Here, you get a list of three different names. Okay. So what split does is split will split the string on specified character. Okay. Now, if you mention here O, see O. Now there is a O in string. It will create only two strings, list of two strings. Here, Jig, then it splits on O and H and Mike. That's how split can be worked. So this way you can like work around the string. For example, when you take user's input, it's always in string, right? And if you are taking like number of values in a single row, for example, let's say and be equal to user entered value like 5, 9, 6, 3. So we want them as an integer. So what we can do is split this string. We will get string of these numbers and then convert them to 8 one by one, right? So this way we can process a user's input. So after string, there is a list operations. Like there are multiple operations on string, not just this one, like doing uppercase or lowercase string operations. List operations. Now let us define any randoms list 1, 2, 3. So A is a list containing elements 1, 2, and 3. Now the first method we can try on string is append method. What append does is it will append any element to the end of string. So when I do a dot append and I will pass 4, this will append 4 in this list at the end. So when I print a and after appending 4, I will print list again. Print a. Here, as you can see, there was only 1, 2, 3. Now there is 1, 2, 3, and 4. Right. So what append does is adds any element to the end of the list. Now after that, the next function is delete. Actually, it can be. We can insert. Yeah, right. Insert is the function for inserting an element in between. So you have to specify the index where you want to insert. Right? Let's go insert a dot insert. Okay. So let's say I have to insert at index number 0. In the element which I want to insert is, let's say, character A. Okay. Then print it. Here you can see it's been inserted at 0th position. So delete. Now what if I want to delete this A, because I only want integer string, but it's in between. So there is already predefined function delete on A, like on string. So on list A dot remove. It's a remove function, not delete. Delete is an operation which can be done by remove method, and you just pass element which you want to delete. Let's say A. Now I will again print A. Here A is deleted. Now what if I provided an element which doesn't exist in this list? It will just throw a thing here. Value error, X is not in the list. So when you have to delete like any object from any list, you can first check if this element exists in this list or not using in operator. For example, I can write print 3 in A. Now in operator will check if this element exists in this list, right? This should return true. Here, true. This can be used in future to check if any element exists in list or not. Alright, so these three operations will be enough. You can look for another operations. There are many operations. All right, so let's take another one, extend. So what is difference between append and extend? What extend does, it extends the list, like adding the element at the end of the list. And what append does same, and extend also adds elements at the end of the list. But difference is, what if I do a dot append and provide another list? Let's say 8, 9, and 10. Print 8. Now, what we expect our list to do is just append this 8, 9, and 10 element at the end of the list. But no, this list is itself is another object. So this whole object will be get added to our list. Let's just see how it works here. As you can see, there is 1, 2, 3, 4, and then there is another list in a list, right? Now, what when we want to like append this list to previous list, we use extend. Now, extend will add these elements to that list, not the complete list. Yeah. Now it's not another list. So list is done. After that, let's say tuple. Now tuple cannot be modified much as it's immutable. You cannot modify any element of tuple or delete it, like delete any specific element. Same way as string, you cannot modify any any character in a string. For example, let's go up again, and we had this string, right? So if I try to like name of 0 equal to, let's say, A, this will throw me error because string is immutable, same as tuple. Here, string object does not support item assignment. Once you assign a string, it cannot be changed. Same goes for tuple. If I do t of 0 equal to 2, now again this will throw error. Tuple object does not support item assignment, right? You can access elements of tuple same way as list and string. Print t of 0 will access 0th element, which is 1, and -1 will access 2. Right? So if you see, T doesn't have many operations. It just have count and index. What count returns is count of any specific element. Like if I say T dot count of 2, now how many 2s are there in that list? It will just return 1, and the index will return at what index that element exists. You can try it on your own. So after tuple there is dictionary. D equal to A, D equal to B. All right. So I have defined a dictionary. Now, how we access elements of dictionary? Like for list, string, and tuple, we used index. But for dictionary, for accessing element, we use key. So print D of 1 will return the value which is assigned to the key 1, which is A. Right? Same goes for if we try 2, it will return B. Okay. So this is how you can access elements of dictionary. Now, what operations dictionary can have? D dot, as you can see, there are get, pop, copy, keys, clear, from keys, and all. So there are many operations on it. Let's say we will just look at important ones. So as you can see, we are accessing elements using square brackets, right? But dictionary can also have another method of accessing elements. D dot get method. What get method does is get method takes key as an input. So let's say I provided 1. Now this will let's say I provide 2. Now these two statements will print same output, B and B. Now what we have to look at is difference. So what's the difference between accessing element using square brackets and dot get method? Now if you provide an key which doesn't exist in our dictionary, let's say 3. Now 3 doesn't exist. What it will do? Key error, right? There is no key by name 3. But if we give same for the get method 3, it doesn't display error. It will handle the error internally and it will return none. All right. Now what if you have to return? You don't have to return none. Like you have dictionary and you think that if the key doesn't exist, I want to return not exist string. So what you can do is give another parameter to get, comma, default equal to not available. Now I will print it. No keyboard arguments. Yep. All right. So instead of writing default, I will be just passing the default element. I don't know why that happened. I will look it up and will tell you why that happened. So you can pass any string or any number which you want to return. If that key doesn't exist, it's returning 10 because 3 doesn't exist. All right. Now dictionary can have other operations like keys. Now keys will return all keys present in our dictionary. Say print. Same way we have d dot values, like dictionary dot values. It will return only values. Then we have dictionary dot items. Now what is the difference between these 3? Keys will return only keys. So now we have keys 1 and 2. Values A and B. These are values. And items will return tuples. Tuples consisting key and value pairs. For example, one tuple will contain 1 and A. Another tuple will contain 2 and B. I will run it. You can see here. When I run keys, there are only 1 and 2. For values, there are A and B. List of values. And for items, list of tuples. Here. Okay. So these methods can be used. All right. So let's move on to next thing. All right. So set. Right. Let's define a set. I will create a set from list 1, 2, 3, 3. Print is, as we all know, what set does is takes only one element, only one unique element. Now there is a 2 times 3, it will only take 1 3 here, 1 2 and 3. What operations you can do on set is dot add. Add will add an element to our set. Let's say I added 5 and then I again added 5, or I again add 2, let's say, but 2 is already there, so this won't add 2 in our set. Print yes. Yeah, now you can see we have added 5, it gets added, but when we added 2 is already in our set, so it will not repeat itself. Items are unique. There are multiple operations on set too, like copy, union, pop, union. You all know union. When we have 2 sets, we have to make union of them. That way you can use them. Difference are to see difference between them. Remove will remove that element. You can try this on your own. You get on to the next point. So next thing we have is conditions. So conditions are if else conditions. For example, we have to run any program if any specific condition occurs. Then and only then we have to run any specific snippet of code. So we have conditions like if. Then after if we give condition. Let's say if 2 is equal to 2. Of course, this is true. So this will run any code written below this if line. Print 2 is equal to. Now if you look at this code, you can see there is a spaces between this print and the start of line. Now this is called as indentation. Now if this thing gets wrong, Python will throw you error. There is always 4 spaces after any colon and next line. 4 spaces. No, actually this ID is doing it by itself. When you give colon and press enter, it will automatically go to the 4 spaces next to the line. Okay, but if you are on an editor where you have to type manually, so you have to give 4 spaces or 1 tab. But 4 spaces seems fine because tabs are different on different systems. Okay, let's run it. Okay, 2 is equal to 2.
That last code
This one. Okay, so what we say is if 2 is equal to 2, then run the following code. So like what we do in curly braces in CPP or Java, so same thing. It's a scope. Basically, it's a scope. Now this scope of this if last until this 4 indentation is follows. For example, let's say I write it another line of code. For example, print this line. Now this print statement is in the scope of this colon, right? So if and only if this condition is true, then and only then this line will work, or these two code lines will work. Like for example, if I make it 2 equal to 3, then these two lines will won't work because 2 is not equal to 3, right? Here nothing is printed. But if I take it here, like remove the indentation of if, now this isn't in scope of this column, right? So this line will be always get printed. So that's what colon defines. The whatever the indentations are followed are in its scope. Now there is if and there is else. Else also have its scope. So there is a colon and then automatically there is a tab. Now if this condition doesn't satisfy, for example, if 2 is equal to 3 is false, then else will run, right? Print 2 is not equal to 3. Here 2 is not equal to 3. So this is how if and else can be run. Now there is another operation like elif. Now I will just demonstrate it. Well, if 3 is equal to 3, print 3 is equal to 3. So how does this work? First of all, code will check if 2 is equal to 3. It will see it's a false. Then it will move on to the next line. Now there is a else if. This elif stands for else if. Now else if 3 is equal to 3, then this snippet will run and else will not work because if condition is already satisfied here, right? So if any condition satisfied here, the below code won't run, even if the below condition is true. For example, if I again write elif 1 equal to 1, print 1 is equal to 1. Now even this condition is true, but this code won't get to this line because it's already satisfying condition on 3 is equal to 3. So this will run only this line, print 3 is equal to 3, and will stop executing this whole condition. So when any condition is satisfied, code won't go below, like for these conditions only, else if or else. So you have to like specify your conditions carefully so that code will go through each and every condition in a well manner. Okay, now so I guess this is enough for conditions, because this is only can get to if, else if, and else. Right. So these are the only conditions we have. Now, like I said, when any condition is satisfied, it will go below. So why does this matter, right? Because where it can be used, like for example, specifying conditions, one code won't go below. Let's say you have to grade students based on their marks. So if any student have marks greater than 80, you have to give him A. If any students have marks greater than 60, between 60 and 80, then you have to give him B. Now, any student who have marks greater than 60 is obviously having greater than 80 is obviously having marks greater than 60, right? So the student having 98 marks follows all conditions greater than 40 or anything. So in that way, you have to design this if else condition in such a manner that if that even if student have 98 marks, he shouldn't be graded less, because even that condition is satisfying, right? Greater than 60 is satisfying. So how we can arrange it, like for first condition we can write marks are greater than 80, then below that we can check marks are greater than 60, and same manner. Even the below conditions are true. If the top condition is stated true, then below conditions won't run. Now next is loops. Any doubt till now? Conditions or list operations?
Prathamesh, hello.
Sorry, yes, man.
Yeah, hi. So I have one doubt regarding insert and extend. So both are same, right? So is any restriction provided somewhere, like we can't use anyone, like we need to use insert or extend. So in this or it will not provide some like restriction will not be there.
Sorry, I didn't get you.
हाँ like जहाँ ऐसी कंडीशन होगी कि इंसर्ट अपन यूज कर सकते हैं, राइट? So both operation gives same input, like insert or append. So anyone we can use, or some things like sometimes की append will not work. ऐसी condition है क्या कभी?
Actually, all right. So you are saying, what if we write a dot append, and in some cases, what if this won't work?
Yes,
right?
yes.
All right. So what happens is these are predefined methods. These are like designed in a way to like handle errors implicitly. But there isn't any case where append would work. Like for example, if you're appending any element to this list, it will gets appended because we aren't assigning any specific value to list. For example, like we do in C++, like or C, creating array of 4 and then adding fifth element, then it will say there is an error because list is only declared for 4 elements. But Python is a dynamic type, so it will just increase the length of list, but it won't give you error in if you try to add anything to the list.
Okay.
So as an insert, for insert, let's try new thing. For example, we have tried 0, but right now our list have how many elements? 4 elements, right? After appending 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's say I give 4th index. Let's see what this does. Okay, All right, as you can see, it's added
Yes.
into the fourth index when the list was only up to 4, right? And if I give 5, all right, it's still added to the same index,
Fifth.
fourth index only.
Fourth, sorry.
Just adding to the end of the list. Okay,
Mhm.
if the index is greater than the length of the list.
Okay.
Uh, so
My question was, we can use the nested ifs. Like here, I can add here a big if next.
Yeah, right.
By indentation.
yes, yes. Like so, you can use a nested if else statement, like writing if inside if, right? So let's try it. Or let's say this statement is true, right? Now here I will write another if. If let's say 6 divided by 3 is equal to 2, right? And print 6 is divisible by 3. Same way, for this inner if you can have inner else. Yes. But the thing to remember is this conditional statements only starts with if. So if you don't give if, else and else won't work. So if should be the first condition, then else if, and then you can have nested if and else, like if inside else if or anything. But you have to follow indentation strictly. For example, this if is inside this colon. For example, so there are 4 spaces, but this print statement is inside this column, which itself is inside this column. So there are 8 spaces. This 4 for this if, and previous 4 for this elif. Okay. Right. So we can move on to the loops. So there are for loop and while loop. Okay. So how does for loop work? Let's say I have a list called let's say fruits equal to apple, banana, and let's say cherry. I have to iterate all over this list and print this fruits names, right? So we can iterate on this list using for loop. So how does for loop work is for, then you can give any variable to point to any specific object between any list or anything on which you have to iterate. Let's say I say for fruit in fruits and print fruit. Okay, so how is this working? So I have typed for fruit in fruits. Now what fruit does is point to the only one element in fruit for now. So the first element is apple. Now it will print apple. Now it will again go to for fruit in fruits. Now what the next is banana. It will print banana, and for the same it will go to cherry. Now fruit is just an instance which is pointing to any one element in our list, right? If I run it.
Instead of fruit, we can use anything.
Yes, instead of fruit, we can use anything. Let's say I tried I. We have to change I here. Here, same input, right? So as I is right now string, right? Because apple is string, banana is string, and cherry is a string. We can do any operation on I. Like for string, let's say I do upper. Here, all of these elements are printing in uppercase. Same way you can iterate or any element on list and other than this what else you can iterate on. Let's try to iterate on tuple. same result. So for will just iterate on any iterable object. It doesn't have to be specifically list only. If any object can be iterable, for can iterate on all our its items. So you can write else in the end of for. Now when this for loop will end, else will get executed. It is print fruits are finished. As you can see, apple, banana, cherry, and when for loop doesn't have any more element to iterate on, it will just execute else statement which prints fruits are finished. Now there is a inbuilt function called range. Okay, so what if we have to iterate on 1 to 100 numbers? Like, so you cannot write like a list of 1 to 100 and then iterate using for. So what you can do is like iterate on range function. What range does is create a automatically it creates a list between specified numbers. For example, for I in range. Now what range takes is starting index. Let's say I have to iterate from 1 to 10. 1, comma, and to 10. Print I. Now there is one more parameter you can give to print. What print does is print each element on next line, right? But I don't want to print on next line. I just want to print it all in one line, even though print statement are executing repeatedly. What you can do is give another parameter end equal to space. Now what it will do is will print I, then we'll give space after it and won't go to the new line when the next print will come. Let's run it. You can see the numbers being printed are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So 10 didn't get printed. As you can see, so range function can iterate from 1 to last element, but last element won't include it, -1, correct? Yes, it's -1. Now there is one more parameter you can give to range, which is step. Now what the range function is doing is increasing its value one by one. What if I want to increase its value by 3? So I will give another comma and 3. 1, then next third value. After leaving 3 values, it's taking 3 steps, 4 and then 7. Same if I make it 2, 1, 3, 5, 7 and 9 using steps of 2. Yes, because of this end, it's printing in one line. If I remove this end, 1, 3, 7, 5, 7, 9 will print on a new line. Because print statement always prints on new line. Okay, now next is while loop. Giving this else for or while isn't necessary. It's not compulsory. It's your choice if you want to write else or not. Now what while takes its condition. Let's say I have I equal to 1. I will print I here. And I want to run this loop while I is less than 5. Now, of course, sorry, this doesn't take right. So while we'll iterate how many times until I is less than 5. So right now I is only 1, but I isn't getting modified. So this will just go in infinite loop. Python detects an infinite loop and will not run this program. It will just show you that it's going in infinite loop. Let's try it. It doesn't, right? So keyword. Okay, so Python isn't detecting infinite loop and we have to do it by ourselves. So what I will do is increment I by 1 after each iteration, and I will run it again. Now, as you can see, because of this end, now as you can see, this is while loop 1, 2, 3, and 4. And when this I will become 5, this loop will get exit, will get exit, because 5 is not less than 5. But if we did I is less than or equal to 5, then 5 will have get printed here. Got a printed here, right? So that's how while can be worked. And then there is a else at the end. So it's got executed when the while loop exited from its execution. While loop ended. Now, what if we have to break this statement in between? For example, now let's say if I is equal to 3, then print 3 arrived. Now these are nested statements. There is a if condition in while. You can nest anything in between, right? In for loop you can write if, or in for loop you can write while. In while you can write for. There is no limitations on nesting. Now there are break statements here, execution statements, which are break, then pass, and continue. What break does, what pass does, and what continue does. We'll look at all three of them. What break does. So as you can see, while loop will start from I equal to 1. I will get printed 1, then I will become 2, and it will get printed 2. But when I will become 3, so this will break this statement. So what break does is it exists a loop. For example, now while is a loop. So when we execute this break, it will get exit from it. It will not continue executing while loop. You can see 1, 2, when 3 arrived, the execution loop stopped here only. So it just printed 3 arrived and nothing is printed next. So even else statement isn't getting printed when we passed break. And if we passed pass, now pass does nothing. Pass is just there to say code will continue as its work. Yeah, everything is doing perfectly, nothing wrong. So pass does actually nothing. It just says I am here, but I won't do anything. Now what continue does? Let's say I don't want to print 2. Here we are printing I, right? But when I will become 2, I don't want to print it. I just want to go directly on 3. So we can use continue there. Now, if I write here, right here, if I is equal to 2, then continue. Now what continue does? Continue, when the continue statement will appear, it will just go to the next iteration. It will leave all below code undone. Like it will not run the below code, but it will go to the next iteration of for I. Okay, so when I will become 2, it will just go to the I equal to 3. All right. So what happened here is, what actually happened. So when I became 2, it came to this if condition I is to continue, but I didn't increment it because this statement didn't get executed. It will just go to the while, right? And I still 2. I didn't increment it. So I and it just stuck in infinite loop. That's why I printed I plus equal to 1. I plus equal to 1. Yeah, now it's working. So 1, 3, and 4. You can control plus X. see, delete here. No, I don't have to write I plus equal to 1 in if condition because it's doing at the start of the line. I will make I equal to 0. Now let's see. So 1 is printed. When 2 arrived, continue. Skip 2. Then it will come to 3. Then 3 arrived. Pass will do nothing. And at the end, else loop is executed. So these are all statements for break, pass, and continue. Any doubt till now?
We need to practice then more doubts.
Yeah, sure. So so what you can do today for practice is explore all operations on these data types on string, tuple, list, and dictionary. You know how to do it. Just define any list or tuple and just type dot, and Python will show all methods you can perform on those data types. Try to perform them. If any error occurs or any confusion is there, you can look up to for Python documentations. You have all types of sequence types, list, tuple, range, and you can just see what types of operations does like what input it takes and what output it gives. All is given here, as you can see, append and all.
Share that link.
Oh, sure. I'll show you this. Right. And after that, yeah, well, you can write a conditional statement for like printing students' grades. I will write it here. Now, you will take students' grade input from user, convert it to the int, and if the grades are between 80 to 100, then print A. Between 60 to 79, then print B. Same way, 40 to 59, print C, and anything below that, just print D. Anything below 0 to 39. So this is assignment for conditions. Then for loop, for loop using range function, iterate from 1 to 30 and just print numbers which are divisible by 2. Using range function, take numbers from 1 to 30 and print those numbers which are divisible by 2. Okay. Now you can use step function, but do it without using step function. 2. You can write 3 also, like divisible by anything. So actually we missed one operator yesterday, arithmetical operator, which is called as mod. So I'll just go to the yesterday's file. So at the end, mod operator. It's denoted by %. Now what a mod operator does is it prints a remainder, often a division. So when we say 3 divided by 2, it will print 1, because when we divide 3 by 2, the remainder is 1. So print 3%. Here 1. So that's how % can work. Now for for current assignment, you can know if any number is divisible by 2, then its mod will be 0, right? 4 is divisible by 2, so the output should be 0. Now you know what to match, how to do it. So just iterate using for loop, then nest if else conditions in it, and print only numbers which are divisible by 2 or 3, anything you want. So I will write that. Numbers divisible by 2 between 1 to 30. Okay. that's enough for today. Loops and conditions. Tomorrow we'll see functions and try catch, block, exception handling, and file handling. Mandar, any doubt?
No. I need practice and then we'll ask.
Sorry.
हाँ practice करके देखता मैं.
Sure,
कुछ
sure.
any doubts then I will surely ask you.
Yeah, sure. If you need out of this, just message me. I'll be there.
Sure then.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks a lot.